Hello. It has now been 2.5 months since facial feminization surgery, and I genuinely could not be more happy with the results. As of right now, there is no noticeable swelling, and the only noticeable scars are on my neck, and the only time people notice that is if I say, hey, check out the scar on my neck, but other than that, people don't really notice it. Then, on top of my head, if I don't part my hair correctly, you can kind of see part of it. There's a big bald spot because the scar was like temple to temple. But as long as I just carry some bobby pins with me, all is well, and it's not really that noticeable. As far as my full recovery experience and how bad it was or how hard it was, it really wasn't that bad. The first week was pretty painful, I won't lie, but I had painkillers which made everything easy and made me really sleepy, so I could just kind of sleep through everything. And then the second week, there was really no pain. It was just discomfort. It was just, I was so sick of like the head wrap that I had. I had like crazy tangles in my hair, and that was really annoying, but it was only discomfort and nothing that was like, wow, I'm gonna blow up. Not that I would blow up from the surgery, but like could. Do I think that the recovery is worth the results? 100%. I do it like 40 more times. I don't think I'd have to do it that many times, but it was just so worth it. If it was 41, then So for full results, they did say everything would be healed and swelling would be completely gone after like 6 months, but I genuinely can't see any more swelling. So like, ready? Check out this proof. Like, I don't notice any swelling, and I'm super content with my face now, and I no longer experience crippling dysphoria when it comes to my facial features, which is truly an amazing feeling. Now, one thing that I thought would happen, but I didn't think it would happen to the extent that it did, is my confidence has shot up like crazy. I never thought I would be a confident person because I was so uncomfortable with everything about myself. But now that my face is a little more to my liking, it's a lot easier to be confident now. I know wear what I want a lot more often. I will do makeup more often than I used to, because before I would think that if I did makeup, it still wouldn't even look good because of like how strong my brow bone was, and I'd be like, well, it's just gonna look bad, and if anything, pull attention to my facial features that I don't want, and I would never do it. But now I think I just need like a little bit of subtle makeup touches, and I love it. I think I look pretty cool. That's not the word I wanted to use. And the feeling of having confidence in like 2 years after transition, after not really experiencing that feeling, is truly like makes everything that was worth, like every hardship that I could have faced with this surgery, like how long it took me to get it covered and how like long it took me to like figure out payment stuff like that, but everything was so worth it just for that like little bit of confidence that I now have. It's great. Now, lasting effects that I don't like are easily solved if I had more than like $5, but my hair is extra frizzy now, like up here, because the way I got out the tangles was with a metal comb, and I essentially just tore my hair apart, and now I have lots of patches of hair that are like a lot shorter than the rest, and a lot of it is just really dead because I just ripped it in half. And that makes sense. I'm not confused as to why that's happening, and I think if I had a little bit of extra money, I could go to a hair salon and like figure it out with some sort of hair treatment thing, or just get those hairs cut so they'll like grow a little better. I don't know how it works. Plant some chia seeds and water it, and then it'll all be fine. But I guess that's not too bad considering what the whole surgery was, to just have some frizzy hair in like humid weather or whatever isn't bad. Is not a bad side effect. It's just not welcome. As far as my overall experience goes with the Spiegel Center, I think everyone there is amazing. They're all super friendly, and my surgical coordinator, her name was Eleanor, and she was one of the most helpful people ever. Uh, After like calling a bunch of different insurances to figure stuff out and like having all these problems with just different places, she was the most helpful out of like anyone ever. And she was always, no matter how many questions I had, which was like a million, she was always super happy to answer them, and she's really amazing. Now, all my meetings with Dr. Spiegel were really brief, but they were really like genuine, and he's such a nice guy. And like, even though I really only saw him for like a total of an hour over the course of our appointments, he like really knew me, and every time he'd come in, he'd like tell everyone about like how I do flips, and he was like, wow, she's so cool, stuff like that. And I thought that was really cool. He even like went as far as like looking me up on Instagram and saw all my videos. And I thought that was so cool that he cares so much about his patients, and I strongly recommend them if you can afford them. They are one of the most expensive surgery centers as far as FFS goes, but it's for a reason. It's because they are one of the best. And if you can afford to switch to a Harvard Pilgrim insurance, that is the only way that I was able to get it covered. And it was definitely difficult to get that switched because you had to make sure everything else was canceled. And I'm only 20, so that means I could have still been on my parents' insurance, but I had to switch off of my parents' insurance just to get this covered. And although I have to pay a lot more bills than I used to, it is still so worth it, and definitely way cheaper than what I would have had to pay out of pocket for the surgery. So I was told that going back to training and going back to parkour and freerunning, that Dr. Spiegel has never had to tell someone when they can go back to flips. And that's fair. I'm not sure. I only know like 3 other trans athletes, and I don't know of any of them that have had FFS. So he said for most sports, he recommends 3 to 4 months before going back into something. But those other sports usually involve like something else, like a ball or a puck, or like people trying to tackle you or something. But with flips, it's kind of just like all on me. So around the 2-month point, he said that I can go back into things that are like basics for me and things that I know I won't fall on my face. And really that's the goal anyway with doing flips, is to not fall on my face. So that will be a pretty easy rule to follow as long as I'm not pushing it and trying new things, which I won't until past the 4-month point. But I can at least start getting some strength back and start getting back into things so that when I'm ready to actually like train fully again, I won't have to go all the way back up, and I'll have made a little bit of progress towards where I was. And I'm really excited for that. So I think this will be my last video when it comes to FFS, because I can't really think of what else I would talk about unless people just started asking me random questions about it. But as far as my recovery experience and my experience with Spiegel Center, I can't see how I would find out any more about the experience since I've already gone through the biggest parts of it. And maybe I'll gain more confidence in like another month because more swelling will go down, but like I said, I can't really tell that there's still swelling, so I can't imagine me really noticing it at this point. But that's all I have to say about FFS, facial feminization surgery. I hope this was cool to you. I hope you enjoyed all these updates because I thought they were really fun to make, so if you didn't like watching them, then that's okay. But I still enjoyed it, so bye. Okay, bye.